Hello DCS World Nation, and this is a video of the DCS L-39 Albatros for July 26, 2015. And this video is an introduction to the aircraft, particularly for those who bought the pre-purchase or those still on the fence, to give you a brief overview of the aircraft, but by no means a tutorial or instruction video, given that the aircraft is still in pre-alpha and a lot still can and will change. But we can take a look at what we have for now. Let's do a quick overview of the cockpit. So we have our circuit breakers here, emergency hydraulics, radios, external lights, pitot heat, and so on, electrical buses, our instrument gauge. So we have a airspeed, altitude, radar altitude, ADI, HSI, DME, VVI, bank angle, clock, engine RPM, engine heat, fuel gauge, electrical, and a couple others. And then we have our landing gear handle, landing gear indication, flaps. These red, yellow, and blue are a combination of the APU and engine controls, the throttle, and the oxygen supply. Now, if we go to the rear cockpit for the IP, instructor pilot, it's very much like the front cockpit, minus some switches and controls. But the big change we have here is the control panel here, which allows the IP to mimic some aircraft failures for the student pilot up in the front. So back to the front. And we'll go ahead and close the canopy. And we'll go ahead and lock it. And we'll seal it. Okay, so let's get this started. So we'll go ahead and turn on the battery. And then the engine inverter to get some of the gauges working. And see our fuel start to rise. And now we'll go over here to the Zephyr APU and get that started. And we'll see a light here that will light indicating the Zephyr has spun up and it's safe to start the engine. And there we go. So we'll move the throttle from off to idle start. And the blue button is covered here. It's for the starter. Press that. And here we go. Engine RPM rising. What's that F5 doing there? And we'll go ahead and enable both the generators and the inverters. And now the rest of the electrical buses. And once the engine spun up, the Zephyr APU shut off automatically. Now we have some light functionality already. Some of the external lights. You can do, I believe it's solid, yep, or blinking. I'll turn this off for now. And then up here we have a little floodlight. This is our landing takeoff lights. And our instrument panel lights, we can either have white, just the brightness, or red for night light. But we don't need these today. This is the fuel shut off, and unless there's an engine fire, it's pretty much always in that position. And we'll set our radar altimeter bug down to 0. And I think we're good to go. So now taxiing the L-39 is actually a lot like taxiing the MiG-15, for those of you that are familiar with it, in that it doesn't have any nose wheel steering. So instead what you do is you get the aircraft rolling, and then you use differential toe braking on the left and right main wheels. So you're going to set the brake, increase throttle, and release. And here we go. And now what we'll do is we'll steer the direction we want and then brake. A very beautiful model. Go a little too slow. And we'll put our flaps to the mid position for takeoff. And once we take off, you'll notice that some of the controls, are not functional quite yet, such as the ADI. And while the L-39 is a very light aircraft, its engine is exactly not the most powerful in the world. So we'll probably rotate about 180 knots. We'll keep the nose pretty low after takeoff to build up some airspeed. And do a rolling takeoff. And here we go. Get the engine up to about 105 RPM. $150. And rotate. Gear up. All red. Flap up. Okay. Passing through about 300. And we'll follow the highway out here to the west, and then we'll loop back and fly over Creech. Okay, once we get to 400, okay, start getting some altitude. And of course we can jump to the back seat as well. Actually a much better view from back here. Yeah, really happy with the work the artist did on the model. Beautiful attention to detail, texturing, lighting. Yeah, jump back to the front. And we'll head back to Creech now. And generally you want to be at about 103 to 102 engine RPM. We get to 105 and 106, we could worry about some overheating at that point. Good evening, Creech Air Force Base. And we'll go ahead and do an implement. Moving slow. Jump back. And for the time I've been flying the Albatros, it's definitely made me appreciate just the amazing flying that the acrobatics teams that use the Albatros can achieve, namely the Breitling team and the Patriots. Just amazing flying those guys do. Front. And we'll do one more low pass. And that, my friends, is a introductory look at the DCS L-39 Albatros. Now, again, we're still very early on this, so you can expect some further updates as we get new features online. We introduce the ZA light attack version and other new functionality. But for now, I hope you have enjoyed what you've seen, and by all means, please visit the website at www.dcs-world.com, and I hope you enjoyed what you've seen. Take care.